Hello everyone and welcome back to another screencast, an Algebra screencast. Changing the subject. It's really important, this one. If we can understand how to change the subject of an equation, then it goes a long way to working through lots and lots of different problems when it comes to algebra. So definitely do not quit on this one until you get it bang on. So what is an equation? We've done this before. An equation is a mathematical expression that contains an equal symbol. Equations often contain algebra, which is letters, to cut it right to the point. Algebra is used in maths when we do not know the exact number in the calculation. So here's some famous examples. That's from BBC Bite Size. E equals mc squared and speed equals distance over time. So we can use these formulas or equations to help us work out values that we don't know, as long as we have some. So we can work out what speed is if we knew what distance and time was, or we could find out what the distance was if we knew the speed and the time. And we're going to go over this today. So it's very simple. We're going to use again our inverse operations, which means do the opposite, to help us work out. So we're trying to make y the subject on this one. So I'm going to do this one with you. So you know, when we have those equations like a weighing scale, whatever we do to one side, as long as we do it to the other, it will remain balanced. So on this one, I can move, I hate to say move, but I can rearrange this formula or equation so that y is a subject by doing the following. I can subtract w away, and as long as I subtract w away, it will leave here and it will reappear over here, and it will reappear in its inverse form, which is minus. So I'll have y equals c minus w. And that makes perfect sense, doesn't it? That y plus w equals c, so therefore y equals c minus w makes perfect sense. Okay, let's have a look at another one. So again, I'm going to use the inverse to this. So we've got y divided by w equals c. So the inverse is timesing by w and timesing by w. So I end up with y equals c timesing w, or y equals cw. And that really is how easy it is. Some are a bit more difficult, and we're going to go through those as we go. But I want you to start thinking about what you would do, maybe pausing the video each slide and seeing if you get things right or wrong. Okay, so we're still making y the subject. This time we've got r times y equals c. So what would we do? Pause the video, try something. You may get it wrong, but you may get it right. Okay, so it's r divided by w. So what's the inverse? It's going, r timesing by w. R timesing by y. Sorry about that. So the opposite is divide by r and divide by r. So y equals c, and the way that we often write this is over r. Dividing by r is normally written as over r. Okay, c over r. Does that make perfect sense? So y is the subject now. Y equals c divided by r. Next one, what would you do here? This is a much simpler one, okay? What would you do on this one? Hopefully you said plus w on both. So we end up with y equals c plus w. Because to get rid or to rearrange, we must do the opposite, the inverse. We have plus w. Okay, these are tougher now. They're tougher. They're kind of like a little bit like two-step rearranging. Okay, so do that. What you think first, come back and see if you're correct. It'd be fantastic if you just did something and it was awesome. Okay, so like a two-step equation, we've got to do the same thing. So we've got to minus 2a from both sides, and then rewrite y over n equals w minus 2. And then we're here, and what we've got here is we've got y divided by n, so we're going to times it by n. So timesing by n, but we're going to times the whole lot by n, right? So that means we've got y equals, and we can leave n on the outside, and we can put w minus 2, and we could go a little bit further and actually write, we could actually multiply out of the brackets and go y equals nw minus 2n, but I'm going to leave it there for now. And the next one, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. Do not worry about it too much, and I'll explain why I do certain things in certain orders in a minute. But give it a go. What's the worst that can happen? You can get it wrong. It's not going to spoil your day. Okay, so what we've got is we've got y plus 3 divided by c. So this whole lot here has been divided by c. So I can't take away the 3 before I deal with the c. And the reason for that is because this whole lot here has been divisible by c, right? If it was just y divided by c plus 3, then I would obviously deal with the plus 3 first, but I can't do that on this occasion. So what is the opposite of dividing by c? It's timesing by c both sides, and that equals y plus 3 equals hc, or h times c. Next thing is to take away 3 from both sides, and we'd be left with y equals hc minus 3. Now, if you're struggling with these last couple of questions, it's not the end of the world. These are the tougher ones. But if you can get your head around these, then you are absolutely flying. But now, as always, it's time for your quiz. Just remember, on this one, you are making x the subject. We've been making y the subject, but now you're going to make x the subject. So take your time, go through. Well, maybe watch again. If you look at these and think, I've got no chance, go and watch the video again. Go and watch the video again. Make notes of how I do each one, and then try this one yourself. Okay, so here we go. Here is our answers. You can see what I've done there. X equals z over z minus y. X equals 6 bracket w plus 5 close bracket. But if you wrote 6w plus 30, then that's also correct. But make sure you show all your working. And last but not least, we've got x equals hc minus 3. So hopefully you've been successful there. Again, if not, just watch it again. I know for some of you, maths isn't your thing. That's what you say. Maybe some of you say, but my mum wasn't good at maths, or my dad wasn't good at maths, so that means I'm not going to be good at maths. Well, it really comes down to how much work do you put in. If you put in the work, you will remember. And if you do remember, you'll start doing better. And then all of a sudden, maths will be your thing and you'll be successful. Write a revision card on this. Enjoy the rest of your day or evening or morning or whatever you're doing right now. And as always, it's been a pleasure helping you with your maths today.